Hello, everyone. You are joining me at my desk. I have my coffee. It is a mess. I barely have any room here, but I wanted to jump on real quick because I made a card for my son last night. His birthday. We're celebrating it today, and so I have to give it to him. But I wanted to share it with you and two techniques that I did. I have my boys' birthdays are a week apart. And so I ended up making my oldest son's yesterday. I really liked it so much so that I'm like, I want to make my youngest son the same type card. So I have two cards I want to share with you. And I'm using the Tune In by Stampin' Up. And it is the stamp set as well as the die set. And so this is what we're going to play with, and I'm going to show you the two different ways that you can do this. So the first is where you predominantly use the dies in the die set. And so what I did was, first of all, I decided on my color scheme for this, and I'm really loving the Color Coach. I spilt water on it, but I had put little dots on the colors I already had. So for this one, I wanted it to be more of a softer, feminine type one, and I'll show you what I do with my boys. So I went with this color scheme. I did Crushed Curry, Lost Lagoon, and then Pretty in Pink. So this is a really handy dandy tool. If you happen to have the annual catalog for Stampin' Up, I did discover that it is in here as well. And it gives a nice description of the different types of color schemes. You can use a color wheel anywhere you get it, but if you happen to have one of the ink sets that you use, it's really nice to have the colors already listed for you. All right, I'm gonna set this off to the side for now. The first one that we're gonna do is I'm gonna make a card front using the predominant color blending and our die cuts. So these are the ones that I've already die cutted out. I did go ahead and stamp my image on what will end up being the television screen. I heat embossed it with black, and that way I'll be able to ink over it and it'll still pop. It's just a nice way to kind of cheat your way through blending after you have stamped. Then these little pieces are for the bottom of the television. And then I'm going to use these pieces as well. And then this little guy here. So the first thing I'm going to do is my background. I am pulling in Pebbled Path, which is a beautiful gray, for my screen, and then for all of my pieces that would be, I think would be silver. So I want to do my background in, I am going to use stamping on this. I know for sure I'm using the television stamp on this, but I don't know if I'm going to use the little stars as well. We'll have to see how it goes. So the first thing I need to do is I need to take and get my background done. And instead of taking my foam and putting it into here, I like to just smoosh it out onto my craft mat. I feel like I use less ink and I don't get hard lines. The other thing that's good with this is if you only have space for these small cubes, you can do the same thing. You can just smoosh it out, and you're gonna see me do that. Use these. A lot of people get hung up on the size of their stamp pad because of this technique. They're like, well, that's not gonna work as well. But you can, if you do it this way, you don't have a problem. So I'm just going to take and smoosh that out. That's all I need right there for this right now. And then I'm going to pick this up and just kind of swirl it around. And then I'm going to go in. I start on the outside of my paper, and I just go ahead and I work all the way right on in, making sure that I am blending this around on the inside. You notice that there is some darker spots, some lighter spots. That just all depends on how heavy my hand is in those locations. So I have my dog right now who is saying, pay attention to me. I do need a little bit more. Also, the benefit to this is oftentimes when I am using my these, and if and then I use it on this, sometimes I forget. I keep it in the same color family, but I sometimes forget, like, did I use, this top with that color? Because I have like, over 30 colors. So you definitely, it helps you not cross-contaminate and ruin your stamp pads with other possible ink if you're like me and you don't want 30 of these, So I have a couple for the different color families, but other than that, this is it, So this background is pretty much blended through. It's really pretty pink. I am gonna just go ahead and add a little bit of water to it to get it to move around some. Then I finally purchased my Heat It tool, and I need to plug it in. That always helps. And then from here, I am going to heat it up so that it dries, and I can do my next stamp on it. Okay. Now, the Heat It tool, people often say that looks like a little blow dryer. Why don't you just use a blow dryer? Well, this is much warmer than a blow dryer, and the air that comes out of it doesn't come out so, I want to say, abrasive. It comes out relatively, it's a light, it's hot, but it's gentle. It's a gentle heat, which is important for your paper. Otherwise, it blows your water around, and you don't want that. You want your water droplets and that to stay in one spot. So that's why I like the Heat It tool. And it took me a minute to find one. I was really concerned. I had a Heat It tool back when I used to, work in the arts and craft industry, and I ended up giving away all of my arts and craft stuff, and then I wanted to come back just for hobby. And this is one of the things on my list that I really wanted, and I looked and looked, and I was looking at Ranger and couldn't find it. I don't know if they were out of stock, and then I finally found it at scrapbook.com, and I was able to take advantage of one of the sales there. So that was really nice. Okay, so this is almost dry. If you notice, I flipped it over and I dried it on the back as well. That's because when you wet your paper, anything really, it does seep down, and so you have to get both the back and the front dry. All right, so from here, I am going to put this on top of a foam piece. This is my foam piece. It's been well loved. And I am going to stamp some little of my televisions. And so I know for this, obviously I'm going to go direct stamp to pad. I always make sure that I clean off my pad, my stamp before I do another color when I'm done stamping. So I'm just going to do some nice tone on tones here, and this will just create a lovely background for my television there. And then my coffee's off to the side. The reason why I do foam is whenever you have a clean clear, you want to make sure that you have something under it that can absorb it. You'll get a crisper image than if you just do this on like a flat surface. So I never recommend that. All right, I think I'm happy with that background. I was gonna add in some of these, but I don't. Well, yeah, I think I will. All right, so I'm gonna take this, like I had said, I always wanna make sure that I clean it, and I'm just gonna take my squeegee. and wet this down. And then just make sure I give it a nice clean so the next time I use my stamp, it won't transfer any of that color over. So get as much of that ink off as you can. Whatever ink is left there, the residual of it, it should not transfer or ruin your ink pad. That being said, my embossing sheet, my embossing pad would like to tell a different story because it looks like I have different ink colors there. But on that ink pad, so it's a clear, highly moist ink pad, I actually like that I have some color on it because then I can see that I stamped my image. All right, so I'm just gonna pop some of these little stars and things into my screens like this, kind of like that. I think that's cute. And then this will be my background. So for this one, let me see here. Yeah, I'm not gonna even try with that. I was gonna try to do some fancy smancy stuff there, but we're not gonna. All right, I also have to put everything away as I do it, or else I will lose my little stamps. Because goodness knows I almost lost this particular one today because I didn't put it away and I couldn't remember where I had placed it. So that was no fun. All right, now from here, I'm going to set this aside because we are done with that. My background is totally done. I'm gonna wipe up my area just to make sure that we are ready to go. And then I am going to take my Blue Lagoon and smoosh some of it out because I want to do this in that Blue Lagoon. And so right here, again, I'm not gonna do this. At the end, I do like to put some water down and rinse these a little bit, but for the sake of time, I'm not gonna do that right now or right here, but I am gonna put some Blue Lagoon down here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and, oh, this is actually my gray. So I'm gonna use, I can take this one off actually. And switch it over for one that was kind of in that color family. All right, now I'm gonna take this and just pick it up, and I want my television to be blue, the Blue Lagoon, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I don't have to get all of it because I have a centerpiece that is gonna go smack dab in the middle. And so I went ahead and die cut out all the pieces that I wanted. So I bought this in a bundle, and it's a stamp set and coordinating dies. And so I just decided that I wanted to do this in a bundle because I would use all of it. I'm really glad I did. I'm really enjoying this set. They work nicely together, and I like that I can create things with just paper piecing pretty much, and it turns out super cute. And I have my other example that I'll show you as well. Okay, so this is looking good. Okay, and I'm just gonna kind of get a little bit in there. Okay. All right. Now, I do want to do these little guys, but for this one, I want it to be way darker. So I am going to take my stamp set and just dab it on. I really want these to be darker. And so that's how I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just, and this would work on a bigger stamp set as well. Really, I should have done this first and then picked up the residual with my ink blending tool and blended it through. I might as well just go ahead and do that now with what's left. But really, that would have been smart to do that first. Hindsight 2020. I always have the best ideas after. Hopefully you can learn from my mistake. Not really a mistake, but it's just a better use of the ink. All right, now this is done. Okay, so those pieces are done. Next pieces I want to work on are going to be that pebble path, so that gray. All right, so I can set this aside. This is the next one, and my pebble gray is going to be this, 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 and this needs to be turned over, this, and that. Right, so once again, just gonna take and walla bing, walla boom. And then for this one, that's at the bottom of the TV, the little knobs. There's cute things that you can do with the knobs too after you put them on. You can do liquid glass over them to make them look shiny. So all of your chrome type stuff, once this ink dries, it's pretty much good to go. And it's not going to contaminate once it's all dry. So if you did, and I did this on the other, my cards for my boys that'll show you, if you went ahead and did your liquid glass to make it shiny, it would be really pretty. Okay, so now I'm doing my screen. All right, and that embossing just resists the colors really nicely. Okay, all right. Now I only have black embossing powder on me. Eventually I might get white because this would have been super cute in white, but that worked. That is done. I am pulling this over here, and then I'm gonna clean this. And then the last thing I want to create for this particular card is going to be my little dippy stars. They so remind me of the 60s and 70s. I think that they are so adorable. All right, so just making sure I'm getting that clean. Now I'm gonna take these little guys out, and this is just gonna give me my little pop of color, which is going to be my Daffodil Delight. So this is a lovely yellow. And there we go for that. And we're gonna pick that up, and I'm just kind of dabbing it on. They're a little bit small to try to, you know, blend it through. I mean, I could with my tweezers, but for the sake of time, I'm not gonna. And I want the color to be darker. So the more heavily handed you go in with your ink, obviously, the darker it'll be. Okay, so now that is done, we will start to assemble this card or the television, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna lay it out. All right, so I'm gonna take, this is the background that's gonna go on. Remember that. So we'll put this up over here. So the first thing I wanna do on this is I wanna get my screen on, and so my screen is going to go about there. And so I'm just gonna take my tape runner, and I am super generous with my tape always. I know it's really wasteful. I shouldn't be that generous, but I am. All right, this is gonna go a little bit high because I have to put on this little piece down here with those little knobs. Okay, so this is gonna go here like this, right down here. And I think I'm gonna mail this card to my daughter. She recently has moved out of state. And so I think that I'm gonna do stay tuned. Christmas is just around the corner because she's coming home from Christmas. All right, and then these little knobs are gonna go here. I am using the clear, like the liquid glass on this type thing. It's not liquid glass, it's just clear craft glue, but it works. I like it for these because I can eventually go over these pieces and make them shine by just placing that, covering it on the front too. Okay, so, all right, there's my little television. Then I want to take this piece, and I've seen it up like this in the back. I'm gonna put it in the back. That's just how I remember it as a kid. So I'm gonna do a really thin layer of this here, like so. And then this is gonna go here. I'm just gonna take, kind of pull that through like that. Okay, then I'm going to, so look how cute this is on that. Look at that color scheme. Isn't that adorable? All right, and then just to give you an idea, because I'm gonna finish it up off screen, and I'll show you the sample of the other one that I did in a different color, is I'm gonna take these little guys and just, you know, do one here, you know, maybe do one down here, and then pop on these little stars. Kind of all around, like, you know. And I'm gonna do pop dots on this. Not right there. But, okay, you know what? I am gonna do it because I can't get it perfect showing you like this. So I am going to assemble it. Bear with me, please, as we do this. So I'm gonna take my honeycomb little dots here. I'm gonna do 4. I'm gonna not put them right on the edges because I want to make sure I can slide these little pieces in. All right. And the reason why I didn't want to assemble it is because this is literally the color of my, it's the size of a card front. And so I wanted to take it and trim it down before I put it on, but I can do that. I can do that with this regardless. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. All right. So first goes on the TV. And I kind of want it off center because it's kind of, you know, it's quirky and cute. Now I want to take these little guys and I want to put these in the around. Maybe one on it right up there. We'll do this one on the underside here. Okay, and then let me take these little guys. For this, easier to use the glue. I'm just gonna take these and pop them on here. If you're interested in the Tune In set that I'm using, head on over to the link provided down below from Stampin' Up! And you can go ahead and purchase it. I strongly suggest that you purchase it in the bundle if you want both, obviously, because they're going to be a lot cheaper than if you just purchase it separately. And so that's what I would do. That's what I did. Right. Then do this one up here. Okay. All right. So super cute little card front. This is the one that I made for my older son using the same technique. See what I did there? So for this one, there's this die set here, and I blended it all out and I offset it. And then the color scheme that I did with this one was crushed curry. This was copper clay. This was the peacock. This is also the peacock. These were crushed curry, and then this was the olive, and then again that pebble. So super cute. So this is how you can use this set if you want to do color piecing. All right, the next one I want to show you is how to paint with your stamp set. And so what you need to do is you need to go ahead and emboss, stamp and emboss your image first. So for this one, we are going to go ahead and paint with it. So we're not going to be, we are going to be doing some color blending in a minute on this. But for the most part, we're just going to be painting. So what you can do is take your stamp just like this, and then just take and you can do water in it to water it down, or if you have an aqua pen, paintbrush, it doesn't really matter what, then you're going to go ahead and paint. The reason why I like to paint with the embossed is because when I do it this way, as you can tell, it creates nice little borders. So my ink doesn't go outside of the lines. I'm coloring within the lines and I still get that watercolor effect. Okay, and so this is for this one right here. All right. And so it just keeps it nice in the lines. And once it dries, it's good to go. I am not a good, like I am really bad about staining the lines. So, all right, so there is this. All right, I'm gonna go ahead, take this, clean that up because I am done with that color for this particular. My next color that I'm going to use is going to be that pebble gray. And I'm going to be coloring this and that piece right there. The inside of my TV, I'm gonna do pink. I know, that's different and weird, but you'll see why. Because I'm going to do kind of a fun technique. Okay, so I'm going to pick this up. I want to take my thin one for this because I want to go into right in there and get that gray. Okay. And again, if I didn't have my lines embossed, it would really go outside the lines in a bad way. So we don't want that. I mean, of course, if I saturate it up where it's higher than my walls, it will do that as well. But then I want to do these in gray, this in gray. Okay. Then I'm going to do this one in gray, this one in gray, this little piece right here. This would be cute also if you have a little person on their head, like a little hat. That would be hilarious, I think. So cute. All right, this is done. I had way too much ink down for that, but you know what? Oh well, can't cry over it now. All right, now what I want to do is I want to get my center done. So to do my center, I am going to be using my pink for this. And I am going to be doing some blending and then also some stamping. And then I will emboss my image. But to make sure that I only blend through there, I'm going to use some of my tape here. This is paper tape. If you don't have paper tape, that's okay. Just use masking tape and then just make sure that you lint it off. But what I mean by that is just put some on your shirt and then, you know, like smoosh it on your shirt, and then that will allow you to use it to mask off, but it won't rip your picture, your image, when you go to remove it. You also can do that with Scotch tape, the clear tape. Masking tape is really the safest though to do that with. But if you have some of this, I would recommend this. And then as you can tell, there's like the corners are still exposed. So what I do is I just kind of go through and get them in there like this. This is why I also like this paper tape, is I can just tear it down to about the size. I don't need it to be perfect. I just don't want it to be apparent when I go in with my pink that I got messy with it. And so we're almost done here with this. Taped it all off. All right, there we go. Now I want to take this, and I'm going to be using this for a little bit. I'm going to pick this up, blend it on through like this. For the screen. You guys are probably going, I have a better blending technique. I'm sure you do. Okay, so now from here, I am going to do some stamping on this. So I'm going to take, I really like this little static one because growing up, holy cow, did my family see that little guy a lot. So I'm going to take this dude, and again, I'm going to use this pink, so I'm doing tone on tone, and I'm just going to kind of go a little bit around the edges, kind of throughout, like this. Okay. Then from here, I want to stamp my sentiment, and I'm going to emboss it. So when you emboss, you want to make sure that you remove the majority of your moisture. So I am just taking my little powder patch here and just getting that nicely done here. I am going to emboss this with, I haven't done a, maybe done a happy birthday, I've done newsflash. So I'm gonna do, there, it keeps coming off. Oh, okay, I know I'm wasting your time. All right, so this one is gonna go back in here. I did wipe this off over here. I think for this one, I'm going to do, do I wanna do, yeah, I'm gonna do Your Super. All right, so for Your Super, just gonna take on this. Now, my embossing, I wanna get a better embossing. This is not the best, okay? And as you can tell, you know, I have some ink residue here. This is not the best by any means. Just going to do that right here in the center. Then I wanna take my embossing powder. The reason why I remove the moisture before I emboss is so that it doesn't stick to anything but what I want it to stick to. And the embossing powder is obviously super moist, and so that's where I want it to stick. Some of you that have been crafting for a while, you already know that, but I do often have people that are new to crafting and they don't. So that's why I like to specify what I'm doing and why. So please be patient if you already know the answer. I know you know, but you know, when I was new, I didn't know why you should remove that that extra powder. I didn't know why you would powder a surface first. I never understood that. So we have to learn somehow. Might as well learn from people who have been doing it for a while. And the rest of us, this is such a nice community. We don't usually gripe about stuff like that. All right, now All right. Now from here, I'm going to remove my tape. And I have my cute little image. Once I get everything removed, I will go ahead and tape on my die cut, and I will die cut this out, okay? And then I will assemble this little card. So let me show you, for the sake of time, I'm not gonna do that with you right now, because I would have to go die cut it and then assemble it, and you just saw me kind of assemble one. But I will show you my example that I made for my son. This is the first one I did. And again, the colors on this I used were shaded spruce. So I was really thinking about shag green carpets when I first made this. This is an embossing folder that for some reason my embossing machine did not like. So I wet my paper. It's this embossing folder right here. I wet my paper and then I put it in here and I used a rolling pin over it to get that embossed image. Then I just ran my ink pad over that from there. So this is shaded spruce. This is that copper clay. This is that crushed curry again. And then for these little stars, I put a little bit of glitter on, and then that's that pebble again. So I did the same technique that I did on this one as well. So for this, I die cut it after. All right. So these are just some different ways that you can use your stamp pad. I think that they turned out really cute. So, you know, stamp pads are the most universal tool, I think, medium out there, because you can stamp with them directly using them. You can blend the color through, and then you also can paint with it. You have to be careful what kind of stamp pad you get, though. You don't want to get a permanent ink and try to paint with that. It doesn't do well. So you want to get a dye ink or a water-based ink. The thing is if you get a water-based ink, if it gets wet again, it does reactivate and it can move. I really am enjoying my Stampin' Up. I've done a lot of stamp pads. I'm really enjoying my Stampin' Up. This is a water-based dye ink. So it goes on wet, it moves around. You can emboss if you wanted to with it. But once it dries, it dyes the paper. So it's not going to be able to move around as much so as a water-based ink. You can literally put a water-based ink down on paper, soak it, and remove all the color. You can't do that with a water-based dye ink. Once it dries, it dries. So this is kind of, I like to look at it as a hybrid ink pad. It works for everything. This is a great brand. So interested in anything that I did, you can find it at my Stampin' Up link down below. If you are noticing that you are enjoying a lot of the Stampin' Up products and you want to get them on a regular basis, this is what I did. I strongly encourage you to sign up to be a demonstrator. Not because you can, you want to go out and sell it to your friends, but a lot of us easily spend about $100 a month on craft products, different stamp set, whatever. And if you are in that bracket where you are spending like $100, a month, it's worth it to be a demonstrator because you get perks, you get a nice little intro box, and then if you decide that you stock up on everything that you like, then you're done. But if you want to pursue it, you can. I have my link down below, so you're not going to get any pressure from me. I'll support you the best that I can with whatever you want to do. If that means you just want to order for yourself and use your discount code, then go for it. I'm all for that. Or if you want to try to build this out, I have some ideas for that as well. Right now, I am not building it out. I'm just showing you what I do online, and I'm enjoying playing with it on the side. but I definitely can give you some helpful tips on how to build a business with it if you want. I wasn't really where I wanted to go with that today, but there you go. So you can purchase the products down below. I do get a small commission off of it. Or you can sign up to be a demonstrator and get them for yourself at a discount. Please, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And I would so appreciate it if you would share. My YouTube channel is not monetized anymore because I am no longer in the business and I just don't work at it as much as I used to. So I would like to start to get paid a little bit for it again. And I need your help by sharing if you feel so inclined. Until next time, happy crafting.